Hey guys, I made a tissue box cover. I use these plastic canvas sheets, this yarn, and a tapestry needle. First I cut out my pieces. For the top piece, I left an extra row on all 4 sides. For all the side pieces, I left an extra row at the top, left, and right side. I made a rectangle in the center of the top piece, then cut it out. I cut out 2 pieces for each side to make the tissue box cover more sturdy. For all the side pieces, bring your needle up through both canvases. Leave a little extra yarn at the end. Wrap around the edge and the extra yarn in the back. Then go 1 column over. This creates an overcast stitch. I wrap the end 4 times, then cut the extra yarn. At the end of the row, go 1 row up and 1 column over to create a tiny diagonal pattern. This is the pattern I used throughout the whole project. I tucked in the end and cut the extra yarn. I continued making the other side pieces. I went 1 row up and made a diagonal. Begin the new yarn at the next column of where the previous yarn ended. All the side pieces had an overcast stitch at the bottom. For the top piece, I didn't add an overcast stitch to the edges. When I reached the opening at the center, I added an overcast stitch around the edges. I tuck the yarn under the last corner and continue making diagonals. Make sure the diagonals at the top and bottom face the same direction. I connected the larger side pieces to the top piece, using the diagonal pattern. Then I connected the smaller side pieces to the top piece. I left extra yarn on both ends. I wrapped each corner with yarn twice. Then continue to join the sides. I wrapped the yarn around the bottom, tucked in the end, and cut the extra yarn. I covered the corners with yarn so that the canvas wouldn't show. And here's how it turned out.